Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome to this channel. Hello everyone. My name is Murni Mahmud. I'm the lecturer of English Literature Study Program, Faculty of Languages and Literature, State University of Makassar. And in this section, I would like to show you one issue which is very, very important for you as students. That is about writing research proposal. Remember, by the end of your study, you need to submit your research report. Therefore, you need to know how to write down research proposal, and later, of course, you need to know how to conduct the research project. Okay, here we go. Okay, yes. Well, this is the definition of research. In my opinion, a research is a kind of scientific activity, and those scientific activities cover a systematic process of collecting, analyzing, interpreting, writing the report of the data in order to answer, to justify, to prove, argue, contradict, and later you can conclude about certain issues. Yeah, that is the definition of the research, in my opinion. I take one definition from Blessinger, 2015, Education Research Methodology Framework, in which a research is defined as the process of systematic inquiry to better understand the nature of a particular phenomenon and the nature of the relationships among certain variables. That's all the definition of the research. Okay. Right, so in writing research proposal is exactly about writing your ideas about the project of research that you are going to do. What you are going to do to investigate or to explore about a certain topic in a particular field of study. So, for example, if you are majoring in literature, of course, you are going to write down research proposal in terms of literary work. Maybe you can take novel, you can take a movie, and then you can bring it into analysis, and that become a research project. Yeah. In the field of social science and humanities, for example, you can discuss about, for example, politeness strategies among English students, or maybe politeness strategies in social media. Yeah, that is related to the field of study that you are majoring in. Okay. Okay, here the research project will consider a lot about the depth of analysis, the design of the research, and also the discipline of the study. In undergraduate degrees, sometimes students apply experimental design, or sometimes also apply qualitative analysis. For students of graduate program, yeah, they are recommended to have a kind of mixed method because it needs a higher level of analysis than the students of undergraduate degree. And for the students of doctorate degree, there should be depth of analysis for their research project. Sometimes they are asked to produce a design by using R&D, research and development study. And of course, they can design a book maybe, or maybe they can design a kind of strategy that can be implemented in teaching. Okay, the parts of the research proposal. Usually, the research proposal will contain these 4 important points. The first one is about the introduction. The second one is review of related literature. Chapter 3, research methods. And then don't forget, you will need to put your references at the end of your research proposal. So, introduction, review of related literature, and research methods. Yeah, it can consist of 3 chapters. Chapter 1, introduction. Chapter 2, review of related literature. Chapter 3, research methods. And at the end, you need to put your references. Okay, let's see. Yeah, let's see what is going on in introduction. In the introduction, what you need to write down is about the background of choosing the subject. The reasons for you to choose the subject. Yeah, is it important for you to do the research project? So you need to explain in the background of choosing the topic or the background of choosing the subject. Okay, after that, you need to provide research questions. Yeah, maybe it can contain two research questions for you to answer. Yeah, but for the doctorate degree program, it may need more research questions. Okay, and later you need to formulate objectives of the research. What are the objectives of the research? Okay, and about the significance of the research, that's exactly about the contribution of your study. The significance, the benefits, or maybe the implications or recommendations that can be obtained after conducting your research. Your introduction will cover all of these 4 important points. Okay, now let's see. Yeah, in the background of choosing the subject, what is going on in the background of choosing the subject? In the background of choosing the subject, you need to provide very, very important reasons for choosing the subject. Is it important for you to do the research in that subject? Is it urgent? Is it feasible? Or what is the novelty of the research? Novelty here, something relating to the new findings from your research, or maybe possibly the new findings that can be obtained by conducting your research project. So you need to formulate this in the background of choosing the subject. You can combine with some concepts and also some previous studies, some studies that had been conducted which are related to the topic that you are going to do. Okay. And of course, it will create research gap. Research gap here means the similarities or maybe the differences between your study, between your study and the previous studies that have been conducted before. What is so special about your study? What is so unique, of your study? So you choose to do the research in the topic. That's about research gap. Okay, let me show you one example of research gap. Okay, example, I'd like to conduct research in politeness strategies in EFL classroom interaction. I say here, referring to this phenomena, politeness strategies in the class, especially by English students in English language teaching, are still important issues to be explored. Okay, so actually, there are a lot of studies that have been conducted in terms of politeness strategies, but I said here that politeness strategies in the class are still important issues to be explored. Why? Because still very few studies that are focused on the English student strategies in expressing politeness, especially in the context of universities. Yeah, I try to define the gap of the research, of my research, compared to the previous studies that had been conducted before. The context of studying politeness proposed in this study brings new phenomena of politeness research. Yeah. Don't worry, don't be reluctant to promise that your subject, the subject of your research will bring new phenomena, will bring new finding from your study. And of course, actually the research gap is exactly stating about your promises, and the promises about your research project will be seen later in the research finding. We are going to see whether it is really, really important, whether it is really new, something like that. Yeah, okay. And I continue, the context of communication, classroom presentations among English university students becomes a potential area to observe politeness strategies, and therefore brings significant findings in the politeness research, especially politeness studies in EFL classroom interaction. So this is example of research gap in order to make sure to guarantee that the research project is worth of exploration. Yeah, and then of course we can take a lot of contribution by conducting that research. Okay. Yeah. So after explaining about the background of choosing the subject, then we come to the problem statement. We need exactly state the exact problems raised in the study. And of course, we need to formulate research question in order to answer and to elaborate in the findings later. Okay. Yeah, this is the example of the research question. For example, the title is Politeness Strategies in EFL Classroom Interaction. And then the research question formulated is what strategies applied by teachers and students in EFL Classroom Interaction? And the research question number 2, how do the teachers and students perceive about the application of the politeness strategies in EFL classroom interaction? Later, these research questions need to be answered in the findings. Yeah, for example, in research question number 1, we need to find out. Yeah, we need to explore all of the strategies that had been applied by the teachers and the students in EFL classroom interaction. And also we need to answer the way the teachers and the students perceive about the application of the politeness strategies in EFL classroom interaction. Exactly, the research questions will lead you to do the research project. And remember the research objectives. The research objectives will need to be consistent with the research questions that had been formulated before. For example, when the research question is about what strategies applied by teachers and students in EFL classroom interaction, then the objective is to explore the politeness strategies used by the teachers and students in EFL classroom interaction. And for the research question number 2, here, the objective is like this, to examine the teachers and students' perception toward the use of politeness strategies in EFL classroom interaction. The objectives of the research should be consistent with the research questions. Okay. And significance of the research. Here, the significance of the research. Yeah, we state here, the findings of this study are expected to contribute to the study of politeness pragmatics in EFL classroom interaction. It might also serve as beneficial inputs for practitioners of classroom interaction, especially English teachers and students, in order to create effective EFL classroom interaction. So, the significance is about the contribution of the study. The implication or the recommendation that can be obtained by conducting the research. Here, we need to state this. Otherwise, we can see that, oh, your research is nothing to do with that. There's no contribution. So what is the use of conducting of the research if there is no contribution to the field of study? Therefore, we need to state exactly about the significance of the research. Okay. Chapter 2 is about review of related literature. You need review of related literature. Usually there are 3 main parts. That's about the review of the theories that are related to the subject. Yeah. For example, when you talk about politeness strategies in the class, and then you need to search all of the concepts or all of the theories from the books, from the articles, or maybe from the journals, or many other resources that are related to the politeness theories. And you also need to provide theoretical framework in the form of diagram. Yeah, you draw a diagram that show the relationship between one part to another. Yeah, okay. And after the diagram, you need to provide one simple explanation about the ideas that you are going to discuss in the research. Okay, exactly. It's about the theoretical framework. The framework means all the things that become the underlying concept for your research project. If any, you can put hypothesis. Usually for the quantitative design, you need hypothesis, but usually for the research in qualitative design, they may not need hypothesis in it. Okay. Chapter 3 is about research methods. In research methods, here are all the important parts that you need to put in research methods. The first one is about research design. The second one is about the subject of the research, the instruments of the research, the data collection procedures, and also the data analysis procedures. And the parts of this research method will depend on the discipline of your study. Maybe for the study of literature, possibly you can change the subject of the research into the source of data. For example, if you are taking a novel for analysis and then the subject of your research is about the novel that become the source of data. You may also need instruments of the research, especially for the qualitative and quantitative design, whether you are going to do interview or maybe observation. Okay, let's check in detail. Okay, research design. Research design here, whether it is qualitative or quantitative, whether it is case study, ethnography, or experimental design. Okay, you can choose which one is the best research design that is suitable for you to answer the research questions that had been promoted in the introduction. Okay, yeah. Students in literary program usually use qualitative design. And the subject of the research, is it a novel? Is it a movie? Or maybe they are teachers and students. For example, the study that I conducted in terms of politeness strategies, the subject is the teachers and the students. Yeah, and then the students for literature program, they sometimes take a novel or maybe a movie as the subject or as the source of the data that is going to explore in the analysis. Instruments. Do you need instruments? Whether you are going to do interview, you need to provide interview guide. Some of the questions that you are going to probe in the field in order to answer the research questions. Do you need to observe? Do you need to conduct observation in the class? For ethnography, for example, for the ethnography, for example, you may need participant observation. Okay, so exactly in terms of research methods, you need to know exactly about the way you conduct the data collection procedure. And in the data collection procedure, you need to know whether it is going to observe, interview, or maybe you just want to read or watch the movie for many times, or you do the library research. Yeah, so it should be very clear here about the data collection procedures. And data analysis procedure. Data analysis procedure here contain whether it is qualitative or quantitative. For the quantitative, for example, well, for the quantitative, you may need the formula, for example, the regression analysis, and then you need to provide the formula for looking at the frequencies, yeah, things like that. And then for the qualitative way, you can choose, for example, the Miles and Hoberman interactive data analysis that contain data collection, data condensation, data display, and data verification. Or you are going to do discourse analysis approach in which you need to hunt the data, you need to transcribe the data, you do the transcription, you interpret the data, and then you put it in the form of discourse analysis approach or maybe critical discourse analysis. Yeah, okay. I think I have come to the end of my my presentation. Oh yes, that's about the references. Okay, don't forget to put references in your research proposal. And usually we provide references with APA style. Yeah, you can choose another style, but the most common style that is usually used for research project is by using APA style. You can see here, for example, for journal article, the year should be in bracket, and this is the topic. the title of the article, and this is the name of the journal, which is put in italics. This is the volume, the issue, and the pages. Okay, another example, Aladdin, yeah, comma, A, full stop, 2011, 2012 in the bracket, that is the year in the bracket, and analysis of the usage of communication strategies in Arabic oral communication is the title, and the name of the journal, Gemma Online Journal of Language Studies, is put in italics. This is the volume, and this is the issue, and this is these are all the pages. Yeah, sometimes we need to put the DOE. Yeah, okay. Don't forget it is available online. And the style of references for books. Here, for example, here this is the Reuters, 2011, the year in bracket, and the title all in bracket. And then this is the city of the publisher and the name of the publisher. Brown Levinson, yeah, 1987, Politeness, Some Universals in Language Use. This is the name of the writers, the year, the name of the topic, the title of the book, and this is the city of the publisher, and the last one here is the name of the publisher. Okay, I have come to the end of my presentation about writing research proposal. So, yeah, so I think all of us have already got some knowledge about how to write your research proposal. Remember that what you need to do is that you read and read a lot. Yeah, in order to enrich your knowledge about the topic or the issues that are potential to be observed, to be studied as a kind of research project. Okay, thank you very much for joining this channel. Don't forget to subscribe this channel. Hopefully there will be more videos that are related to research project or maybe some other disciplines of knowledge. Thank you very much for joining us. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.